RAFINAT so much again. Hello, we're glad to greet you in our project 100% Tatarstan. We'll talk about petrochemical industry. We talk about you are one of the most respected managers.
One of the wise men of the petrochemical and refinery industry of Tatarstan, the head of Tatneftekhiminvest-holding. What is this organization? Why was it created? What does it do for our spectators to understand this? Tatneftekhiminvest-holding was founded in 1994. Before then, I worked in Nizhnekamsk. My biography is rather simple: school, army, 3 years after that institute, then 25 years in Nizhnekamsk and 25 years in Tatneftekhiminvest-holding. Everything related to petrochemistry, not except for my military service. I was doing radio location. And then always with petrochemistry. Petrochemistry is interesting science, very complex. And when we were studying in a Chemical Technology Institute, there were colleagues studying in Aviation Institute. Very different guys. They always seemed to be smarter and stronger. And indeed, if we would have had the petrochemistry and oil plus aircraft manufacturing, then I think we would be always very strong. If it would be the way you dreamt, if it would have been the way it was, then if the aircraft manufacturing would have been working the way it would be Soviet Union, that would be petrochemistry. Oh, petrochemistry will be some 20-30%, and 70-80% will be, say, aircraft manufacturing. Well, but aircraft manufacturing is also the 90%. The aircraft is consisting of petrochemistry. That's a different question. Plastic, construction materials, etc. If it would be 1 per 100 aircraft, that's one thing. When you have 2-3 aircraft, then it's a different approach. We wouldn't have flown into space. Our economy would have been stable. People would have been living better. Doctors would have higher wages. Teachers would not be leaving their positions looking for other jobs. Why did you create this holding? To revive this? The holding was created to organize coordination between enterprises, because back then Nizhnekamsk, Neftekhim and Tatneft were, let's say, were not understanding one another. There was a period of time when there was no money, no coordination between First President Mitimir Shaimiyev. We are collected together. The coordination did help. In a number of years, we managed to get a better performance of Nizhnekamsk Neftekhim for Tatneft to get its market for its products. Nizhnekamsk Neftekhim was being created so that whatever gases that were flamed and burned would be contributing to production. Yes, the company, the Nizhnekamsk Neftekhim started producing things. Do we mean that the left hand didn't know what the right hand was doing? In case of oil and petrochemical enterprises, we have resolved that, but many enterprises working in the Republic don't even know that there are some specific entities, machine buildings, IT and technologies, etc. So I'm talking about the importance of cooperation everywhere. Are you saying that everything is fine in petrochemistry? Yes, there are established relationships. As everywhere, the world is around relationships of people. The role of the president here is that a judge, the arbiter. Is he directing? Is he, I believe he is gathering you once every 2 months or so. Every month we are having the meeting of the board of directors. We had Mr. Galeev, Director General of Tatneft. After that, it was Rustam Nurovich Minikhanov when he was the Prime Minister, and later as President, he is holding those monthly board meetings. The task we are charged with is to find all the best in petrochemistry available in Russia and abroad. We are looking around, finding, we are sometimes discovering projects that would give results in 10 years. Some might not give results ever, but we are looking whatever is necessary for improving economy, for improvement. And the word innovation, the concept itself is challenging. It's difficult to introduce them, but to the degree of our competency, we are looking for the dimensions that are necessary to make our enterprises better. What did you already find? What did you already introduce? Well, what we did discover is their support to our proposals on the importance of refinery and petrochemistry. About 7 million tons of oil, and right now we have capacity up to 23. Now refining some 20. Why refining and processing? You just ship it and then you get the money. Well, there is math and even arithmetics. Today you are selling oil at 45 dollars per barrel. You multiply it by 7.3, calculate how the worth of the ton, or you're selling a polyethylene or polypropylene produced out of oil. Has very different price tags. In that sense, you are not getting percentages, but it depends somewhere by times or some percentages. Sometimes you double, you triple the product worth. Right now, situation by gas, very challenging situation by gas. The Turks gave up on the Turk stream that was built towards Turkey. What should you do? So the Turk stream was laid, it was broadcast, etc. North Stream, how much was talked, done, invested? When will it? When you get the payback? In year 2009, we were working with Dmitry Sharipovich, developing the program for the development of gas chemistry. We delivered Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin, Dmitry Medvedev, etc. That was when it was $450 for 1,000 cubic meters. Today, $78, $90. Right now, the price in Russia, as well as export price, is more or less equal. But if we would have started transitioning to methanol and other projects instead of the pipeline, that would have been a better investment. The economy, the figures would be better. Then the ton would go at $1,000, not necessarily at 1,000, but at least you would have a market. Just piping gas down the pipeline, that's more difficult. When you are pumping oil, you don't need the compressor, just a pump is enough. And then out of ethanol, you can be doing other elements, the cluster of other projects. For example, talking about the construction of ethylene. TAIF is now doing the construction of new ethylene plant, 600,000 tons. And then another chain would be worth of the same capacity. There is a diversity of things that we will be producing. We do have the experience of building first ethylene line, and there are lots of products that should be produced now. But now the time is changing. We should be looking at products that are in demand in the marketplace. I'm quite confident TAIF is doing that, and smaller businesses are looking at this. That's what they need, that propylene oxide, they need simple polyethers, they need lapros and other types of materials. You told not just that, and airplanes as well, also 45, 50, you mentioned about aerospace, planes, helicopters, ships, spacecraft, compressed natural gas-based engines. I'm very happy that our shipyard has shown that ships can be using compressed natural gas. Ecology. Secondly, Gazprom would be interested in that. That's an additional product. Same thing related to the automobiles. Tatarstan is one of the leaders in the use of gas fuel oil, and sometime we would be moving to compressed natural gas for vehicles as well. Much more attractive. When will Tatarstan be able to get off the oil needle? Why should we? Or are we not dependent on this any longer? Now, we still continue, unfortunately, selling oil as products. We need to be getting off. We want all of the oil to be refined. Secondly, of course, producing the very same product that is produced some 50 years ago at Kazan or Xintas, polypropylene has been created long ago. We need to be finding new products and producing those. I've recently attended at an exam. A lady was was asking questions. What can I do for my child to become Director General of Tatneft? What faculty should he apply? I said, any faculty. If he's smart, he would become a Director General of any company, be it or whatever. She wanted her son to become the Director General of Tatneft. And I also think that those who are applying to university and who are studying, not just to get a diploma of higher education, but to work with excitement, delve into keeping a pencil in their hand, going into the roots of the problem, they would succeed. I recently had a chance to meet young people. One was about 14, others 35, not that young. Well, relative to my age, you noted that one has chemical education, and I was speaking the same language with him. We understood each other half, or the second was a graduate of economics. He graduated economics. He understood that he needs to know physics, chemistry. What he does is he goes in the university, first, second, third university, accumulating knowledge, and he starts asking questions. When everybody that came from enterprises, he's asking questions, learning, asking from teachers, professors, and meanwhile he's growing and studying. And this self-education, if we would be able to make sure that we get that education improvement in Tatarstan, that would be main way to free ourselves from the dependence on oil. Vincent, she traveled quite a lot at various petrochemical enterprises. You mentioned BASF. What has surprised you most from these trips? I was mainly stunned with the fact that those enterprises, including BASF, they work with people that are living in those cities. They will understand that this is the chocolate factory. There is some smell. They are working with people. They are explaining what they are doing, what they are doing not to have respective smell. We do have those challenges. Nafis had some difficulties. Nafis managed to overcome, and the environmental issues are much better. With Kaban Lake, everybody is working on that, and to my degree, there are plenty of discharges from various cafeterias, restaurants, etc. going to Kaban, and paper are executed. Lately, we started looking at make sure that there is industrial design, pipelines, etc., etc. We start having that reflecting the industry, be it at Taif, Tatneft, at Taneka. Those industrial design elements are done properly. Moving slowly to the environmental issues, residents start expressing their discontent when they are being told that another petrochemical plant would be built. Periodic scandals. Why? Is that because people are not well informed? They don't trust that the owner would create this. It's important to have transparency, that all the school kids would be able to come in and take a look themselves to learn for themselves. Secondly, wages at those enterprises, in my opinion, should be higher. Then there would be interest not just to work as lawyers or as artists. Please don't touch artists. That's the talent. Yeah, music is important. I don't touch musicians. You probably need some talent there as well. It's important that people will be getting good jobs and then and good pay. Then, obviously, parents would be interested in their kids being at good positions, proper environmental situation, thinking about their own children. wouldn't the owner be responsible for keeping an eye on this, that the smoke is not toxic, etc., etc.? Tatneft, Neftekhim are working at that. There is a monitoring of all the gases that they have there. They're studying, they are developing digital technologies to make sure that it is transparent, it is available in print and on radio, on TV. But one way or the other, wages of people working there, I think, should be higher than what they are now. The important component of ecology is water. I know that the holding is working a lot on different technologies, innovation, as you are calling them. I would say, no, this is something that has been already implemented. And what are your results? Two enterprises at Haikara and Leishaski district. We have stable results. The discharge that goes into Kazan River shows good results. We are also working in Nopolis. The situation is more difficult. For some 5 years, they didn't have their wastewater treatment facilities. We would finish by the end of the year. So you have developed a unique situation of reviving with the bacteria, activating bacteria. Well, until directors that are discharging waste untreated water, nobody would be doing anything. That is demanding. Are you a car driver? Until those cameras were installed, did you have any large fines? And once you have those cameras, that's a different behavior, right? Once I get at 1,000, 250, 500 rubles, once you get fined, you start behaving differently. So once you shouldn't be going at a speed higher than 80, you're driving 80. Whilst in here there is no oversight, so who cares what are your indicators? Salts, whatever, dirt is in water. And the level of fines is 100 times lower for others. I think ecologists wouldn't agree with you. We are doing the raids, etc., etc. We have devices. What devices? They probably have some measuring the maximum measurements, but very few. Show me if anybody was fined. Yes. Aren't they interesting? Yes. What can you offer for the investment? Where to invest? You have money? We would offer you a list. We have a list of those projects, very large one. We are looking for investors. And we are persistent in saying, do invest in Tatarstan, let's take a look how to invest. We have projects that require attention, such as on polyethers, propylene oxide, projects that are very, very much needed, and in a year and a half, you would start having raw materials. They would be having a very high returns, very short payback period, 3 to 4 years. Are you working with us on investment development agency? Yes, we are offering them the ideas on the products that should be worked on in the future. Are you managing? Well, due to pandemics, we are organizing things online. Even this conference, talking about online, you can talk to somebody, but you can't agree on something important online. Going back to the participation of Mr. President, you have visited him very much at various negotiations, part of the delegations. Any case, would you remember how Mr. President leads his negotiations? I remember the way he flipped some business 180 degrees. He walked out, said, I came to get money, and I walked out once I promised to invest, and on my own thing. Did you see any such cases?
He's in anywhere. He's coming ready with homework done on any negotiations. He knows what questions to ask and everything. That is why he includes into delegation and negotiations specialists. You cannot know everything, you know. What I remember is that, the chemistry, his knowledge in chemistry grew up seriously, you know. Everything which is done on the oil refinery business, he knows very well. He can he has knowledge which not many people have. Because of COVID crisis, are you going to correct the range of your products? Well, yes, the airplanes don't fly, cars don't drive, don't go, so that's why demand dropped on our products. But some products, yes, we increase. We have a company which makes polycarbonates of plast, and they have 30% growth even from America. Businesses come to us and buy polycarbonate to build these screens and protection screens. But in general, yes, the demand dropped, but not significantly. Do you have kind of a list of recommendations? So, look, so this is what happened. This is will be in demand. So change your work or something like that. Well, we have to say that nowadays in Tatneftek, in Taif, we have groups of people who do it. We have done what we planned, and we are looking for other ways. So please tell us, super viscous oil, what's the share of it in the oil production? Well, Tatneft started doing these things, and we sent delegation which visited Canada, and we see how they work with the heavy oil. They use their technologies, and they adapted this technology according to our oil. And in these projects, our performance is better and better. And Tatneft makes one of the best gasolines in Russia. We have reforming and hydrocracking, and so high quality gas. And how do you manage to have such energy? I was taught to be curious since my very child. Ask questions, learn, and I'm asking questions. I ask questions myself. Now you switch on internet and you can Google any answers, and different internets. I have been collecting books on petrochemical books. After army I got 5 volumes of chemical encyclopedia, and in Yakutia in the shop I bought books. In Yakutia, nobody's interested in chemical books, and there was a chemical encyclopedia. I bought it and I read it, and I don't use any pharmaceutical chemicals. Just for my cardio problems, I try not to use, and I use natural herbs. I use just natural concoctions for my health. Okay, just quick questions. Quick question, quick answer. And what do you think will change in Tatarstan in 10 years and in 100 years? In 100 years, I think it will be totally very, very well educated, competent people who have knowledge, who will use totally new materials that you cannot even imagine. In 10 years, it will be, what will happen to Tatarstan? Tatarstan will probably have new roads, new country roads, and cities will shrink. People will get back into country. Also, let's say Laishevo, Karbitsky district. It's the same thing as to live in Kazan. That's living standards must be the same. Where in Tatarstan is your favorite place which you love? It's in my home place in Udmurtia. This is your person, yes, in Udmurtia. Do you have any place in Tatarstan where you, of course, apart from cabinet of ministers, where you get energy? If I love forest, any tree, if next to me I feel it. Where is the strength of Tatarstan? Tatarstan is a multinational republic, and they managed to have dialogue. People work together, and in Tatarstan, people, very curious people. If you have to go from Tatarstan, what would you take? I will never leave Tatarstan. What can you learn from modern young people? You can learn a lot. They already interested in a lot of things. They know a lot. When I read lectures, I teach in technological university. I teach in technological university. Well, it's like about 2 hours, and I give them tasks, and my students teach me. They give presentation to themselves, and they show how smart they are. Ability to public speaking is a skill. It's an important skill. And they tell me such things which I will never even thought about. Are your children in Tatarstan? Yes. Both my sons are in Tatarstan. If you had several lives, where would you like to spend this life? I don't understand this. Well, what do you mean, just like more lives? And if we are all together, I don't know. I don't understand this question. The main question which you can give is, main advice which you can give, education. Get education, only education, and new competences. This is what is the strong side of the young people. And if you were a president, what would be your first decree? Education again education, just a development of education. Very strict and very well organized system of education. Everybody must be learning, teachers and students as well. Thank you very much. Thank you, it was very interesting.
Было очень интересно.